What is up, my friends? How are we? You're welcome along to tonight's late night agenda. And for those of you that have an eye on the Champions League as well, do keep me up to date with what's happening. I can see from the chat right now, Bayern have turned that around. They were 1-0 down. Saka with the opening goal for Arsenal, but I believe it's now 2-1. Harry Kane penalty makes it 2-1. I was going to say to Spurs. I swear to God I was going to say to Spurs, but 2-1 to Bayern. There we go. Manchester City raced into a 1-goal lead at the Santiago Bernabeu. That was turned around as well. Wow, what a night in the Champions League. But we have our own news to get through as well. News broke earlier on around confirmed interest in Lucho Diaz, and we will go through that. Loads of stuff happening today. Wow, what a day in the world of football. Thank you guys for keeping me up to date, and I am relying on you because I'm here with you guys and ignoring the Champions League. So yes, do keep me up to date with what's happening. But again, I appreciate you guys coming in and joining me on what is a crazy busy night in football. Wow, that's mad, honestly, to see so many goals so quickly in the Champions League. 3 goals in both games within the opening 32 minutes. That's nuts. Fair to say it's not going to be a boring set of games anyway. Kane penalty for the second one, Kangol, nice. Well in, Harry Kane. So Arsenal, we want Arsenal to go through though, right? Surely? I don't want City to go through, but we want Arsenal to go through. We want the English teams to do well. But, I don't know, is it one step too far for Arsenal? Quarter-final at home and they're 2-1 down. They won't appreciate Harry Kane coming back to haunt them either. So we'll go through that. We'll talk about the latest in the Liverpool situation. New contract for young Scanlon as well. We're going to be talking about the interest in Lucho from PSG. Confirmed interest in Lucho. So we're going to be asking what should we do there. I've been reading up on the latest around the Mohamed Salah situation as well. And it looks like people are starting to think he is going to be departing in the summer. That's based off a load of different bits and pieces that I've read, some of it coming from The Athletic, and again I'll go through that in more detail. People are like, no, F Arsenal. Yeah, but you got to remember, mate, the more games they play, the more likely it is that they become tired. So I would say I get where you're coming from, but we do want Arsenal to go through, surely. You know, the more games they have, the more likely they are to potentially trip up in the Prem. At least that's how I look at it. But I agree with you all on the City one, though. No interest in that one. Just got to bring this up on the screen for a little while as well, just to remind everybody that those tickets are on sale. Now, I got to give people a warning. I have to do this because I got an update earlier on. The Belfast show, that's selling quickly. So if you're interested in the Belfast one, that's the one that I'd be concerned about if you're hanging around waiting. The tickets are moving quite quickly for Belfast. Dublin, we do have a bigger venue, so there is still more wiggle room there. But if you guys are interested, remember those tickets are on sale right now. And if they go. We can't make it any bigger. We can't increase the capacity. So if you're interested, don't hang around. Those tickets are on sale right now. Right, loads to get through tonight, my friends. Let's start off with the newest bit of news that we have today. This was breaking earlier on from Sam Wallace of The Telegraph. And Sam said, Luis Diaz is yet to agree a new contract extension and could leave the club this summer amid interest from PSG and Barcelona. Liverpool value the Colombian at about £75 million. That information was also backed up with Pipe Sierra, who's been pretty good on this as well, and he has confirmed PSG's interest in Lucho. But what I find interesting about this situation is this. Lucho's often spoken about his want to go and play in Spain, or with Barcelona specifically. And I think, again, we could all understand that. But there's no way I'm having a move to PSG as a step up or a step forward from Liverpool. This would have to be one of those Liverpool are looking to cash in scenarios for me, because it's not a step up, you know, and I don't imagine he sat at home as a young boy growing up dreaming about going and playing for PSG. So I want to know your thoughts on this one. How do you think this situation pans out? And would you be interested in selling him for £75 million? I'll get to putting a poll up on that in a minute. If both go through and go to extra time in all games, I wouldn't be complaining, said Tuck. How is Harvey? He's good, thank you. He's just about to go out for a walk, actually. But he's good, thank you, mate. How we doing? I heard a piece from Sky Sports that Amram has a verbal agreement with Liverpool to be our new manager. Is it true? Honestly, I don't know, because today has been one of those strange days. We did the stream earlier on and it was there's a whole lot of different takes on this today from a whole lot of different journalists. Some of them are saying it's done. Some of them are saying 3-year contracts agreed. Some of them are saying absolutely isn't done. Some of them are saying negotiations have taken place. Some of them are saying it hasn't. It's been a pretty confusing day all in with regards to the Ruben Amorim stuff. But I do think that, yes, we are edging closer to Ruben Amorim becoming the Liverpool coach. I just don't know when that will be. But I do think there's enough concrete information there to say, yeah, Liverpool have certainly prioritised Ruben Amorim at this moment in time. Does it concern you that there is not any three-back team that has been... I don't know what that means. Not any three-back team that has been successful. Oh, now I get what you mean. Does it concern me? No. I would argue that there have been back three teams that have been successful. It depends what you view as successful. I mean, we've seen Conte come in and play with a back three at Chelsea, and that worked out quite well. No, doesn't concern me, but, you know, I understand where you're coming from. I haven't actually looked into other teams and the success they have or haven't had with a back three, so I will get my homework and get cracking on that. Right, let's get the poll up on Diaz, because I want to see how you're feeling about this situation, because for me, I don't know, I like Diaz, and he's been playing really well, but if he's angling for a move away, like anybody else, I wouldn't stand in his way. Right, let me just ask though. Would you sell Diaz for 75 million? I feel like Dr. Evil here. Would you sell Diaz for 75 million? Yay or nay? Let us know in the comment section. Sky Sports News said there was no deal in place. John, Sky Sports News have said both things today, and I've got notes to back that up, my man. So let me start off with the first thing that Sky Sports said today, and this was up on their site and probably still is. They say, Ruben Amorim, Liverpool reach agreement in principle to appoint sporting boss, according to Sky Germany. Sky Germany report Ruben Amorim has verbally agreed a 3-year deal to succeed Jurgen Klopp. Sporting boss deal includes an exit clause allowing him to leave this summer. Bayern Munich and Chelsea have also been linked with a 39-year-old. So that was one report, John, on Sky. As the day went on, though, Sky did backtrack on that a little bit, saying that senior sources at Liverpool have told Sky that no agreement has been reached. That seems to be the company line at this moment from whoever is briefing the likes of James Pearce or other local journalists, is that no, nothing has been agreed yet. But they would say that, in fairness. So I guess it's... look, I think we can see enough information now that I think it is going to happen. I think he is going to be the one that they go after. Could we get a bit higher than 75? No. He's not worth more than 75 million if we're being really honest about it. I think 75 million would be a good return for Luis Diaz if the club decided to cash in. Selling our best forward, you guys mad. You do understand that we're going to play with a different system though, right? So it's no good having wide attacking players if we don't play with wide attacking players in the new system. But then again, like was pointed out earlier on, maybe for the first season or two, Ruben Amorim may look to start with a variation of 4-3-3 and change it. So I get why people are uncertain at the minute, because there is a lot of stuff that's up in the air. What I would say to you guys is, I was reading a transcript of an Athletic podcast that had James Pearce, Simon Hughes, and Tony Evans, and reading between the lines of their interaction, I feel like they're edging to the side of Mohamed Salah moving on this summer. That's certainly the vibe that I got from the transcript of that podcast. Now, nobody's put their neck out on the line and said categorically that Mohamed Salah will be sold, but I do feel like we're being prepared for that eventuality happening in the summer. I know people like to have a pop at me about these things occasionally because they don't want him to go. I totally understand and appreciate that, but you also have to look at it from the business perspective, and I think it makes sense. I mean, Tony Evans said the same thing as I've been saying, that he wouldn't feel comfortable or doesn't expect that Salah would be offered a pay rise at Liverpool. Now, whether you want to extend him on what he's already on, that's another conversation. But yeah, pay rise I don't think is likely going to happen with Michael Edwards at the helm, with Salah already being the highest paid player at the club. So we'll just wait and see what happens on it. I know there's a lot of what ifs and maybes at the minute, and it is very daunting to sit back and not really know, especially when we've had, let's be honest, a great run where we've known that we're able to keep our top players together, that we're able to bring players in like Mohamed Salah and keep them at the club. That's been brilliant over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, not knowing that we haven't had to sell on these players because they've been able to achieve what they've wanted to at Liverpool, be it a Prem, a European Cup. These are good things. But now, new manager, new sporting director, new CEO of football for FSG, I guess there are still a lot of questions left unanswered for us fans. Do you think Xabi Alonso made a mistake? Short answer, yes. Long answer, unsure. So the short version is, I think he's taken somewhat of a risk, but I understand it. Far more so than I would have understood him going to Bayern as an example. He's backed himself. And backing yourself, you can always say fair play. You know, you gotta be fair about these things. So in that sense, absolutely no issues with him backing himself. But it is risky. I mean, if, let's say, Leverkusen don't have as good a season next year as they hope, will his stock fall a little bit? Maybe, but I'm sure he'd still be attractive to the likes of Real Madrid and many others. But he'll also get a bit of experience managing in the Champions League next year with Leverkusen. So, I guess it depends how much he would want a Liverpool job in the future, really. Because I don't know if that opportunity will arise from down the line. It may well do, it may not. But, yeah, I would say I think he made a mistake. But I would say that because I'm a Liverpool fan. Craig, do you wish we had Bellingham? Again, sorry for giving you convoluted answers here. The short answer, yes. The longer answer, I'm happy with the business that we did in the end. Like last summer, of course, I wanted Bellingham. I made umpteen videos about that. But bringing in McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, Endo, I'm happy with that business that we did do as a football club. But, of course, most football fans would say they'd want Jude Bellingham at their team, right? Rather sell Gakpo than Diaz. I think I understand where you're coming from. Look, Diaz has been very good since, let's say, just before the international break and certainly through to now. He's looked like one of our more lively forwards. And I think it would come down to him. You know, if he wants to move on, perhaps Liverpool would listen to offers. I don't know if he's settled or unsettled in Liverpool, but I agree with you. If you're looking at forwards that can contribute more, I would agree and think that, yes, Diaz is more valuable than Gakpo and better than Gakpo. But Gakpo may suit better to an Amorim system. So, yeah, I understand most of the points you guys make. I think everybody has their own opinions on these things, but it is going to be difficult to gauge what happens over the summer months because lots of contracts up in the air. Trent, Salah, and then you've got Carvalho coming back in. Players like Sepp van den Berg, Tyler Morton. What happens with those guys? Creevin Kelleher's situation. Maka and them are just as good, said Shane. Well, we've done very well in refreshing our midfield. Really well. And I think we've got good value for the money that we spent refreshing that midfield as well. I feel for Gakpo. He's played so many positions. Hard for him to settle this season. He's a very likeable guy, Cody Gakpo. He just is. He's a lovely fella. Comes across as a very down-to-earth, humble guy. But I've got to be honest. I was always a little bit unsure as to why we bought him. Not because he isn't a good footballer or anything along those lines, but we weren't really in need of that particular position at the time, and I'll still kind of stand over that. But I'm certainly not willing to write him off like some people are. I'm not at that point yet. I still think he has something to offer, and I guess it'll be up to Ruben Amorim and Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards to look over the squad and see who they believe is a good fit and who isn't. It's hard for us to know definitively when there's so much up in the air from the back end side of things. Do you think Harvey Elliott is going to have an unbelievable season next year? I hope so, Billy. I love Harvey Elliott, and I think he's blossoming into a very, very good tidy little footballer. And yeah, I'm not sure what is what the ceiling is going to be for Harvey Elliott. Like, I have visions of him maybe becoming a Phil Foden type player as an example, but I guess there's still plenty of time to figure all that out because he is still, again, a young man. Don't know if this has been asked or not, but are you watching the Champions League in the background? I think 75 million for Diaz is a no-brainer. Sell. Not watching it, mate. No, I can't multitask, so I'm just focusing on you guys in the chat. But I am, of course, relying on you guys to keep me up to date with what's going on in the Champions League games. I knew it was going to be a quiet one tonight, which is why when I asked earlier on about the stream, I wasn't sure, and you can see from the numbers it's the quietest late night agenda we've had in a year probably. But I like these quiet shows as well because it gives us a chance to get to know each other a little bit better. Half time, Arsenal 2-1 down. Thank you, and Tim. Is it still 2-1 as well as the Bernabeu? Again, really quick, if you haven't seen it, which I'm sure you have, Bernardo Silva scored a free kick in the first 1 or 2 minutes there to give Manchester City a quick lead, but Real Madrid then turned that around with 2 quick goals, Tchouameni and Rodrigo. Goals galore there in the first half of the Champions League. It's 2-1 in both. So, yeah, some work to do then, I think it's fair to say, for both teams. I mean, if you're looking at it, Arsenal really have to try and take something over to Munich of a lead. It can't be trailing going over there. That would be a big ask. Manchester City, well, they know they have the Etihad to come in the second leg. And if my memory's right, didn't they trash Madrid last year? Like 4-0, something like that, in the fixture at the Etihad. Right. One little bit of extra good news, especially for any American fans watching. It was announced today that Liverpool will play another friendly in pre-season. The first 2 against Manchester United and Arsenal sold out. It's been confirmed that Liverpool will take on Real Betis on Friday, July 26th at the Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's a 68,400-seater arena, Pittsburgh Steelers ground, and Liverpool will be playing there against Real Betis. So do keep an eye out if you're interested in tickets and stuff. Check out the Liverpool socials. I'm sure they'll give you all that information. But it was confirmed today, a third friendly for the Reds in America. Dominelli has 2 forwards, number 10s in Ruben's system, said Harry Klein. Again, you could throw Jones into that mix. Carvalho, I'm sure, will be in consideration when Amorim comes in. I think that Portuguese connection's probably going to be a positive one. There's some news earlier on as well coming out of Dario AS that say Liverpool, Spurs and Villa are all interested in Athletic Bilbao star Nico Williams. They go on to say that he did sign a new contract last season, but his contract has a £55 million release clause. So another semi-interesting one. Good news with regards to lads coming back training. Alisson, Jota, Trent and Bajcetic are all training with the first team. That was confirmed earlier on. Still a little bit away from returning to the pitch though. It seems 18th of April is the date that's been penciled in. At least that's what the Echo reported for Jota, Trent and Alisson. The Americans get to watch the first of Amorim Ball. Hopefully Gumi, as in hopefully he comes in. I mean, yes, we will be playing friendlies over there. Would I sign Evan Ferguson? No, because I think the money that would be involved would be just astronomical. Like, you're talking over 100 million. And I know that seems ludicrous, but that's the market at the minute. So no, I don't think we will. He's a great player, but he still has some developing to do as well. You know, he hasn't really lit it up as much this season, has he? You know, let's be fair about that. But I think he's in the right place to continue developing. Sorry I'm late, just wondering, do you think any of the lads training today will play on Thursday? Nope. It's penciled in for the 18th for the return leg. Now I hope we get the guys back quicker, but on the Echo earlier on, the date that they had for the boys was the return leg over in Italy for the Atalanta game on 18th as the date to pencil back in. But you never know, maybe if they train well they could be back in a little bit sooner. Carvalho is shining a hole. Excited for the lad. Yeah, I'm really happy, Omar. Always liked Fabio Carvalho. Never really understood what the situation was as to why he wasn't really getting a chance at Liverpool. Was a little bit concerned when I heard the reports from Leipzig as well about him almost being unwilling to fight for his place. But as you've mentioned, he has gone to Hull, has settled in very well, and is starting to do really well there. And I think with that Portuguese connection, if Amorim comes in, would make sense that he'd at least look at his fellow countrymen. Did you guys see Bruno Fernandes basically hoping that Ruben Amorim doesn't come to Liverpool? No surprises there. But yeah, he's not too happy. Did I miss the super chat? Sorry, 1 sec. I think I missed the super chat. Let me scroll back. There we go. My nephew Lenny said, would you let Arsene Wenger live in your garage? I don't have a garage. So, on that front, I'm going to have to say no. But otherwise, yes. Arsene would be more than welcome, mate, to come and live in the garage and, teach me his football wisdom. Do I think we can win the league? Of course. Of course, Ibrahim. Now, look, it's not ideal that we didn't beat Manchester United, but yes, of course I think we can win the league. It's 7 games to go, a lot of football still to be played, and some difficult fixtures there for Arsenal in particular. They have to go away to Spurs, and we know Spurs aren't going to roll over and try to do Arsenal any favours. City also have to go to Spurs Stadium, which has been not great for them over the years. But yeah, I think it's still, I don't want to say anybody's title yet, but there's still lots of football to be played, and I wouldn't be expecting anybody to give up, but nor would I be expecting anybody to say we're definitely going to win it. It's interesting, and all I can say, and I keep trying to remind myself, is, I would have been happy with this at the start of the season, so I'm happy with it now, I guess, as much as I still can't believe we didn't beat United, because they're not very good. So, loads of people asking what the news on Amorim is. It's a mixed bag between different journalists having different variations of how far along they believe these conversations are. Some in Portugal have suggested that Amorim is ready to take the job. It'll be a 3-year deal. Others have said that's a little bit premature. Some are saying negotiations have taken place. Some aren't. I think Fabrizio Romano was probably the most balanced, I think, from what I've seen. And this is what Mr. Romano had to say on the situation. 1 second. I'm just grabbing my notes open. Is it this one? No, sorry, I have loads of notes on it. Where is it? Yes, Fabrizio Romano said it's true that contacts are really concrete between Liverpool and Ruben Amorim. Talks have taken place and will keep taking place. But we have to be patient and wait for the moment Liverpool make their final choice. So that's kind of where we're at. Liverpool are briefing that nothing has been decided yet, but I think they're just trying to be respectful and make sure that, we're respectful to Sporting, and the fact that Sporting Lisbon and Ruben Amorim were on for a double this season. So I think yeah, it's going to be him. It's just a matter of when, I think, at this point. Do you know Rodrigo has the Sue celebration? Okay. Good player, though. Really disappointing to hear yesterday that we could have had him for €3 million when he was at Santos. And indeed, we had a deal on the table, agreed, but he changed his mind and backed out of it, stayed with Santos and then went to Madrid. €3 million, that would have been very cheap. Do you respect City fans? I would never tar all fans with the same brush, but there are a handful of City fans that I would respect, and then there is a load more that I'd have absolutely no respect for. Diaz is playing too good to sell him. It's not, I think again, we're being a little bit short-sighted about the reasons as to why Diaz may be sold. 1, system. 2, Liverpool wouldn't sell unless there was an inkling that the player was interested. And 3, nobody's saying it's definite. All we know for sure is that PSG have an interest in him and that Liverpool value him at £75 million. That's all we know for certain. What the player himself wants, I don't know at this moment in time. All we've seen is that the interest is there. That's been said by Pipa Sierra and by Sam Wallace of The Telegraph. So I don't know if he's going to go or not. The question was just out of interest to see what the viewers thought. You know, if 75 million was on the table, would you take it for Diaz? Do I support any Irish League team? I wouldn't say support, but Shelbourne would be, I guess, the answer. Dancing Craig cartoon dancing after Liverpool score. Sure. What's this one? Do you think City and Arsenal need to progress in the Champions League to play each other in the semis to give Liverpool a chance? Not to give us a chance. We have a chance regardless of what happens. But yes, if they both progress to play each other, I feel like that would certainly take a lot mentally and physically out of both teams. But I don't think our chances to win the league are necessarily reliant on that. I know Jamie Carragher certainly thinks that it would be very helpful to us if they ended up playing each other. And I can see where he's coming from, but I don't know. Maybe I'm deluded. I just don't want to be too defeatist. I don't want to be one of those people that are giving up on the title when there's still plenty of football to be played. Kofi, thank you, bro. Appreciate your lovely message, mate. Thank you. Thoughts on Simon Harris? We don't talk politics on the channel, mate. One thing that we try to avoid on the channel is conversations around politics or religion, because they never work. They just divide people, and we don't want to divide people. We want to bring people together. So yeah, if you don't mind, we'll remove the politics. Craig, I'm going to the Atlanta game on Thursday. Well in, Harry. Nice. Should be a good game. Hope you enjoy it, and I hope you see plenty of goals for us, of course. So Imran, you know what? I'm not going to comment on any other YouTubers, mate. As I've mentioned before, I don't want to talk about that particular person. But I don't think it's done, but I think it will be done. That's the fairest I think I can be on it, because I've said all along, mate, I don't have any personal sources on this one. I'm just reading, like everybody else, what the journalists are writing, and it feels like it will happen. The vibe coming out of Portugal certainly seems to be that he wants the job. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, yes, I think it will happen. If the worst ever happened and Liverpool never existed, is there any other English club that you could get behind? So not now, but previously I probably would have gone with Newcastle, but after that takeover, no. But what would I guess if Liverpool didn't exist right now, the way football is, who would I support if Liverpool weren't a club and I was coming into football now? Maybe Spurs. It's such a difficult question to answer because, of course, Liverpool do exist, and I'm a Liverpool fan, but maybe Spurs. Who else do I like? That I could see maybe being drawn to. Villa, perhaps. Maybe Villa. My dad would have been somebody who looked out. I wouldn't say a fan of, because he was late to football, but maybe Villa. Craig, have you seen the video of the horrible United fans chanting to Jurgen on Sunday? Seen a clip of it, but don't usually give those things much time, Karen. But look, I think Jurgen knows how to handle himself, and yeah, I look, it's never nice though, but I do get you. Jurgen just put his hands to his ears. Well done, our coach. Yeah. I did see it right at the end, Karen, when he was running down the tunnel. Is that the one you're talking about at Old Trafford? But there we go. Opinions on Mickey van de Ven. I think we missed it. We missed the boat, is my opinion on Van de Ven. I've been saying that as soon as I've seen him play for Spurs, I can see why we would have been interested in him. I know he's had some injuries at Spurs, but yeah, I do wish we had assigned him. Yes, I like the look of him, and the goal he scored for Spurs the other day was very nice as well. Am I going to watch the Champions League? No, I'm here with you guys, mate, talking about Liverpool like I promised I would earlier on. I was watching the start of the Champions League, but then it was 8:30 and it was time to come on and stream, and I'm a man of my word. Gladiators, thank you for your super chat, mate. You didn't put a comment in, but appreciate you. Both English teams down 2-1 each. I know, and both gone 1-0 up as well, which was interesting. Who do we bring in the summer? Left-sided centre-back. Do you know what? I'm kind of getting to the point where I wouldn't mind seeing another forward brought in, a central one. Not because I don't think Darwin is good enough, but because I think we could do with some more competition there. It's really I'm not trying to cop out. I don't know the answer because I don't know, one, who's making the signings. Is it going to be the transfer committee? Are they already starting to look at people? For instance, we've seen notes to say that we're looking at the likes of Bakayoko. We're looking at the likes of Pedro Neto. What was the one earlier on here? There was where's the one that came out earlier on? Is it this one? One sec. There was... No. Sorry, I'm trying to get through my notes to get the list from earlier on. Nope. Where the hell are those? Is it Mark that sent it to me perhaps then? Let me go back to Mark's messages. Yes, so the Daily Star said that Liverpool may allow Mohamed Salah to depart this summer. They say that Michael Edwards already has 3 replacements in mind. Nico Williams, Florian Wirtz and Pedro Neto. And then there was another one that said we're interested, I think, Somerville of Leeds. So, again, I don't know what to believe because I don't know what's needed. Like, if this was a Jurgen Klopp summer, I'd have a better understanding of exactly who I think we'd need to bring in. But it isn't. And we don't know the mindset or the thought processes of Amorim and what he thinks the squad may need. I feel comfortable in saying we need a couple of centre-backs, though. Craig, in a 3-4-3, where could you see Ryan Gravenberch? The short answer is on the bench. But he could work in that system as one of the 2 central midfielders. Did you see Julian Ward going to United, possibly? I don't mind. Honestly, mate, I don't care if he does end up there. I'm happy with the team that Liverpool have brought on board. I'm very happy with Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes. So if Julian Ward decides to go to United, fair play. That's, up to him. Thoughts on Ronaldo trying to punch the ref? Didn't see it, mate. Don't watch any of that football over in Saudi. No interest in any of it. Yeah, so sorry I haven't seen it, but not a great look if that's what he's trying to do. Not a great influence on younger people watching on. Diaz is magic and makes the game come to Liverpool, to Gladiators. He is, and he's been brilliant lately. I think we'll all agree that Diaz has probably been the best of the 3 forwards since the international break. Obviously, we all wait for Diogo to come back, but I don't think you're going to get any argument from us that Diaz has probably been our most consistent forward since the international break. So we did say, would you sell Diaz for 75 million? It's fairly split. 54% say yes, 46% say no. Craig, if City and Chelsea are going to be guilty, then I hope they hear in the same league as Accrington and Stanley. Honestly, I'm still not sure what potential punishment, Stargirl, to expect if and when City's charges are proven. The Chelsea one, I feel quite comfortable that that'll just be a points deduction. Don't know how much of a points deduction, but I think it will be a points deduction. Again, Chelsea situation's a little bit different in that they self-reported, in fairness to them. They noticed some anomalies from the finances during the Abramovich era. They self-reported that to the Premier League and have been very helpful and open in those... what's the word I'm looking for? Findings. Whereas Manchester City seemingly put up roadblocks at every opportunity. So again, I would say... probably more... I've always got time for anybody who opens up, admits problems, or admits that they've done something wrong, I think then you'll always say, okay, well, the fact that they've been helpful in this situation should stand to them. But on the other side of it, if you're constantly saying, I've done nothing, I've done nothing, I've done nothing, I've done nothing, and you've proved to have done it, then I think your punishment should be harsher. Did I apply for Europa League tickets? No, I'm going to be here with you guys. I could have gone to the game. I could have got tickets for it, no problem. But I decided, no, I want to be here with you guys for a watch-along, match content, and, you guys are my priority on that one. I may go to the semi-final, second leg. I explained my thought process on that one is, I was at Jurgen's first Europa League game at Anfield against Ruben Kazan, and I wouldn't mind being at his last one at Anfield as well. So, may go to the semi-final, but now the final, I'm right here with you guys. I've turned down the opportunity to do some work that night as well at events, so no, I'm here. Is there any way to drop a suggestion to Ben on a slight tweak to stream that might work for you all? Well, I would say just email contact@anfieldagenda.com, and one of us will pick that up, either myself or Connor, usually at that address. So contact@anfieldagenda.com, mate, and we can certainly have a look at your suggestion, and I appreciate you thinking of us. Thank you. Craig, I personally think the Prem is over for us because Arsenal don't look like losing any games. I don't know how you've come to that conclusion. They literally dropped 2 points last week against Man City. So I think you're just being pessimistic, and it's understandable. I'm not trying to have a go at you at all, mate. I just think it's a bit silly to say that when you look at the fixtures they have and the pressure that's going to be on them and their progress in the Champions League. So I wouldn't give up. And even at that, we're still level on points with them. I know they've got a good 9-goal swing on us, but I wouldn't be giving up late, mate. There's loads of football yet to be played, and I still think there's a few twists and turns to go. What does legacy mean next to the live stream? I've got no idea what you're on about in regards to next to the live stream. Do you mean in the title, or you're going to have to be a bit more clear on that one? Let me just look at the title just in case I've missed something here. One sec. Yeah, no legacy showing up in the title, mate, so I really don't know what you mean by legacy. I hate to say it, but we're not clinical enough. At the moment, yes, I agree with you, my friend. We're not clinical enough at the moment, but I don't understand why so many of our fans are so defeatist. I don't get it. Like, I know it's frustrating that we didn't beat United, and I know we could and should have done better, but I don't get the defeatist attitude. It's a bit over the top. Do I think Real Madrid will win the Champions League or nah? I think whoever gets through that game between City and Real Madrid will win it. Whoever gets through that tie, I think, goes on to win the Champions League. Am I okay? Yeah. All good, mate. All good. Just crazy busy and really, really tired. I haven't slept well for a few nights, but all good, my friend. All good. My girlfriend wonders why you're always on my phone. I'm just glad to be there, Marcus, mate. I'm glad to be there. I'm glad that you're watching, dude. So tell your girlfriend there's nothing to worry about. We're all good. Do I hate fair weather fans? Sometimes. I don't hate anybody, but I just don't like people who are really defeatist. And look, we're all overreactionary as fans. I'm an emotional person, so my emotions can go one way or the other. But what I don't understand is after the heat of the moment, when we've had a chance to sit down and digest what's happened, then I don't get the defeatist attitude. Because, again, lots and lots of football. 7 games left to be played. There's loads can happen, yeah. Do you know what's really caught me off guard, though? The amount of people that are willing to go weak in the Europa League. That surprised me. Because, again, maybe I'm biased because the final's in Dublin, but I want us to win that competition. Be another trophy that Jurgen hadn't won at the club that he could finish up with, and the more trophies the better. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't be going weak. I mean, I've done my preview earlier on. It is up on there. I have made some changes, but certainly wouldn't call it going weak. I love how big of a supporter you are. It's my life, mate. It's really simple as that. I've been emotionally invested in Liverpool ever since I was an 8-year-old kid, and it really does probably take up way too much of my thought processes. We just get bit by the bug, don't we? And you can't help it. I'm a little sad for the draw because I'm only a Liverpool fan in my area, but I feel that we are going to have a good season. Oh, look, you've every right to be a little bit sad about that draw. We should have beaten that United team, my friend, who was Solar Assure. We should have beaten them because they're not very good. And it still doesn't sit well with me. We've played that United team 3 times this year and not beaten them once. It's not great, but it is what it is. We've only got ourselves to blame for the draw. Your phone got hacked. My phone. I don't think it did, to be fair. If it did, then they haven't robbed that off me, so. Jota's back training with the squad this morning. Yep, Rachel, so was Trent and so was Allison. All 3 were reported to be training, as was by Chechich actually as well. What phone do I have? An iPhone 15 Pro Max. The fact with the first drop points early, the other 2 teams now will have their time to also drop points. Well, they dropped points the week before, mate. I think people are conveniently forgetting that one. I know they played each other, but they still dropped points. So, I'm probably putting too much faith in that Spurs-Arsenal game. I think that could be a big, big moment for Arsenal. I'm probably more worried about City at this moment in time because they have a more straightforward looking run in. But look, we're at the dance and we're in contention, which is certainly a lot better than we were last year. To be fair, Diaz is a good player. He's a very good player. Absolutely. Again, I want to point out this isn't Anfield Agenda or me saying sell Diaz. The only reason this is even a conversation is because news broke from a couple of journalists earlier on. One of them, Sam Wallace of The Telegraph, to say Luis Diaz is yet to agree a new contract extension and could leave the club this summer amid interest from PSG and Barcelona. Liverpool value the Colombian at £75 million. So, yeah, it's not us that are trying to push that narrative or anything like that. And that was backed up then by Pipe Sierra, who said the interest in Diaz is real from PSG. If you were Hughes and Michael Edwards, who would you sign? For the manager or for the players? For the manager, exactly who they're seemingly going after, Ruben Amorim. Player-wise, I really don't know, other than maybe Inacio for the left-sided centre-back role. Hincapié would be another option, but I don't think you'd get him out of Leverkusen this summer. I'd love Branthwaite from Everton, but I don't think they'll entertain selling them to us. The one that I struggle with is a forward, actually. That's the area I'm struggling to think of who would like to see come in. Number 10 wise, I mean, in an ideal world, the likes of Florian Wirtz, Jamal Musiala, but again, I don't know how realistic that would be. Barry Jones said, I think 75 million for Lucho was fair, but I don't really want him to leave, nor Salah, but the consensus seems to be that Darwin will be pivotal in the new system. Craig, if rumours are also around Ange from the English press, do you think there's any truth in that? I've not seen one thing around Ange Postecoglou myself, mate. I've not seen one thing to say Ange Postecoglou's under consideration or, I think even he has said he's focused on his job at Spurs. So, Pedro Sepulveda has said Ruben Amorim was the most searched name on Google in England today. He gives an update on the stage of negotiations. Liverpool have offered a 3-year contract with salary more than double what he received at Sporting Lisbon. There is no agreement as of yet, and negotiations continue. That's the latest from Pedro Sepulveda that's literally just come into us there now. Does Salah have more chance of leaving or more chance of staying? I would, if you were to ask me straight up, I'd say he's going. Yeah, I think he's going in the summer, mate. I think that's mainly. I think Michael Edwards will have a big influence over that. I'm sure any new manager coming in would like to work with Mohamed Salah. Who wouldn't? But I think Michael Edwards views this as a chance to cash in and bring some funds to rebuild. I think Xabi Alonso will be our manager. I don't think so with the statement he made to Leverkusen and their fans. He's given his word that he's going to be there next season, to the sporting director, to the clubs who are interested in him. So I don't think he will be our manager, our next manager anyway. Quiet stream, why not have some fun with some light-hearted questions? Absolutely, feel free. Lash them into the chat, mate. You know me, I'm easy going, I'll answer anything. Do you think we should rush the guys like Jota and Ali back? Well, we're not rushing them back. So, I don't really get the question. They've been out probably longer than we were expecting them to be out. So, no, I don't think they're being rushed back. But it is coming to the time of the year where we need as many fit and able bodies as possible. And with Jota, God, we could really do with Jota's conversion right now in the final third. I think it was just to put people off the scent. No, you wouldn't do that. Your credibility would be destroyed if you came out and said that publicly. If he said it privately and briefed it, fair enough, but he sat in a press conference and said it publicly, so I don't think it's going to happen. Would you take Thomas Frank? No, I wouldn't. No, I don't think Thomas Frank's ready for the step up to Liverpool. I like him as a guy. Seems like a really nice, down-to-earth fella, but I don't think he'd have the pulling power to attract players that we need, the calibre we'd need to the club. And I think he needs another job between going from Brentford up to a club playing regular Champions League football. Chat quieter now due to a school night. Oh no, Russell, 100% because of the Champions League, mate. The fact Arsenal and Man City are playing tonight's the reason why it's so quiet, which is understandable. I mean, I ain't complaining about it. But that's the reason it's a quiet stream tonight. We had one earlier on and we had about 1,400 in the chat at 4 o'clock. Tonight it's just because the Champions League games are on. I wasn't going to stream tonight, but I ran a poll earlier on and you guys asked me to stream, so I'm a man of my word and I came on to stream. Your videos and live streams are the best. Hope you have a good night. Thank you, Mo. That's really lovely of you. All I would just keep reminding people is, like I said earlier on, the tickets for the Belfast one are moving out quickly. So if you're interested in that show, make sure you get your tickets as soon as you can because they're shifting. Dublin, we've more wiggle room because the Dublin venue is bigger. So if you're coming to the Dublin show as well, you've a bit more time on those. But the Belfast one, they are shifting. So if you're thinking of coming to see us over there, I wouldn't hang around. I'm not saying that just to try and put the hard sell on. Genuinely, they're shifting. So hope to see us there as well. I can't wait. Really excited by the idea of the shows. Are you a fan of Kill Tony? The comedian, Joe Rogan's friend. I've not, Tony Hinchcliffe, is it? I've not watched it, but I know of Kill Tony. But I haven't watched it, no. What do you think about signing Mbappe for Lucho and 50 mil? Well, Mbappe's going to go to Real Madrid, so I think that's just pie in the sky stuff, really. Is Jota at his peak? Yes. I would say he's right in his peak now, yeah. Peak for a striker is usually between 26, 29, somewhere around that. Steven Gerrard should be our next manager. No, he shouldn't. Steven Gerrard should be nowhere near the Liverpool job. He made an absolute mess of Aston Villa and then he ran over to Saudi Arabia to take a job for God knows what reason because he's not going to progress him as a coach really. So no, Steven Gerrard should be nowhere near the Liverpool manager's job, mate. And I think most people would agree with me on that one. When you see when he went in and made such a mess of the Villa job, and then Unai Emery came in after him and was far more successful, I think, yeah. Can people stop coming in saying, am I alright? I'm absolutely fine. I don't know why people keep asking me, am I okay? I'm fine. Nothing to report on my end. Eric Klassen said, going to Anfield on Thursday from Norway. Much love. Enjoy it, my friend. I'm sure it'll be a fantastic night. Hopefully filled full of plenty of goals and some memorable moments for you. But well in. And wish you a wonderful evening. I think you're going to have a great night. I think it's going to be... I love Anfield under the lights and the European night. So yeah, I think you'll have a good evening, and hopefully you're a good luck charm for us. Would you still take Andre from Fluminense? Oh God, wow, that's something I haven't thought about in a while, SG. No, I don't think we need him. I think with Bajcetic coming back in as well, I think we're fairly covered there. So, no, but it is mad, right, that somebody who was seemingly under so much interest from a load of clubs never really got that move in the end and is still there. What age is Newlawn? I've never really thought about that. Let's go with 28. Let's go with 28. Who do you think has been our player of the season so far? I mean, it's hard not to have recency bias on these things and say McAllister. Probably Verge overall. I think that consistency throughout the season from Verge probably would push me in his direction. But there have been some really good second half of the seasons from the likes of Endo, Alexis McAllister. Diaz has come back really well, but I think overall probably VVD. Who would I replace Salah with? I don't know if we necessarily need to replace him with a like for like, James, because we're probably not going to play with wide players in a winger sense in the new system. So a number 10 maybe, somebody like a Florian Wirtz, Jamal Musiala, somebody of that ilk maybe. Do I know William Pacho from Frankfurt? Nope, never heard of him. Never heard of him. Thank you, Billy. Billy Eclair, you're really kind. Appreciate you, mate. Appreciate your kind words. Osimhen would be ideal. I must be one of the few people that thinks Victor Osimhen's completely overrated. Not a chance I would spend 100 million on Victor Osimhen. Not a chance. I just think it... I just don't see it. Same with Kvaratskhelia. I just don't see enough consistency to justify that really heavy price tag. But I am maybe in the minority on that because I know a lot of people are big fans of Victor Osimhen. I just don't think he'll ever really be prolific consistently. Sign Rodrigo for Salah. I mean, I like Rodrigo. Again, though, my point still stands of... It's difficult to talk about specifics when we don't know what system we're going to play next year. No use bringing in more wide players if we're going to play with number 10s and a lone striker. But I do like Rodrigo. Can Salah be replaced in the new system with Elliott or Carvalho? Well, yes. But I wouldn't look at it as replacing Salah. It's just number 10s. Both those players you've mentioned are possible to play as number 10s. So... I think in that sense, yeah. Szoboszlai will be our best player next season, mark my words. I agree, Tom. I'm expecting a big second season from Dominic Szoboszlai. I think this year it's taken him a little bit of getting used to in the Premier League. I think the physicality of it has stretched him a bit. He's had a couple of niggly injuries. But I agree. I do think he's going to be a superstar for us, mate. I really, really believe that. Do you think Klopp bottled it against the so-called top six this season? Why is it that Klopp bottled it, by the way? Can I ask that as a fair question? Why did the players not bottle it? If you want to accuse somebody of bottling it, should it not be the players who didn't perform out on the pitch? You know, the manager has some role to play in it, of course, but It's hard to talk about bottling at and even the results against the top six when we're still, just goal difference off the top of the league. I just find a very negative mindset. The results against the top six could have been better this season, absolutely. But again, I don't like the word bottling. Miss you when you don't stream. Thank you, Alex. I hate days when I don't stream as well, mate. Honestly, I do. I really, really like to be consistent and stream. Oh, 2-2. City have equalised in that game. There you go. 2-2 in that game. Manchester City back to level it up. Do you think Amorim will have much say in transfers before he arrives? Ooh. So, I think he's going to have far less influence over transfers than Jurgen had, because Jurgen earned that right over the time that he was at the club. So I think Amorim will have some input over what type of player, but how strongly he will be able to influence that, I don't know yet. I'm sure that he'll have a role to play in it, but I still think Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards will probably have a more strong influence. But of course, the manager's going to want players that can work in his system. Foden or Saka, who are you taking? Foden. Yeah, I think they're both very good footballers, but Phil Foden in that scenario. Amorim doesn't have the draw that Klopp has. For now, but he's only starting out in his managerial career. He's only 39 years of age. Probably going to have 2 league titles in Portugal under his belt by the time he arrives. Maybe a cup as well. I think his stock will rise very quickly. Domino's Pizza tweet: things that disappear. Slices of our pizza and early Haaland go missing in the big games. Domino's going balls out there. I hate how Kwanzaa is being slaughtered for one mistake. Well, who's slaughtering him? Because obviously I'm not on social media, so I don't get to see the idiots. But I certainly know in our chat and on here, nobody slaughtered him. If you don't understand that that's just a genuine human mistake, I don't know what to say. I'm not saying you don't understand it, sorry. I mean, he made a mistake. Everybody will make mistakes. Just so happens if a defender or a goalkeeper makes a mistake, it can be quite costly and you can end up conceding a goal. But, I would argue that mistake is a mistake, but so are the 5, 6, 7 chances that we spurned in front of goal that we could have put away. But Kwanzaa will learn from it. He'll come back stronger, and I wish people weren't on his back, because he's done far more good since he's been at the club than that mistake. So I wish people would stop being idiots. Do I like Roy Keane as a pundit? No, I think he's terrible. I don't know what he brings to the punditry. He doesn't give insight for me. He just moans. And look, anybody can moan, but I'd like to hear someone said Jonathan Morley's been slaughtering because of one bad pass. Look, I'm not talking about other content creators, mate. It's not my business to do it. I just don't want. I couldn't be bothered talking about other people, mate. I'll just focus on the work that I do. If other people are slaughtering them or not, that's nothing I can do about that. But for me, I just think it's a mistake, and we've all made them. Ali's the best keeper in the world, and I've seen him make some howlers. So I think it's just one of them things that happens, and he'll learn from it and move on. And I think he reacted quite well in the game as well. Didn't let it get to him and didn't fluster him. So I think if anybody's slaughtering him, and I'm not singling this out to one person, but if anybody is, cop on, would be what I'd say. He had to turn off his comments because of the abuse. I hate that we're in a world where people are like that. I mean, 3-2 City, wow, turned it around there. How can you be a Liverpool fan and then go into comments slaughtering a young centre-back? It takes a special kind of low-life scumbag to do that. And they are the people we need to root out. Because look, we can all be disappointed in a mistake. Of course we are. But to go and start abusing a player online, you're not a fan. You're a scumbag if you're doing that. I'm sorry, you're not. You can moan about a mistake, of course. But, you know, it's one thing us doing a match reaction saying it was a mistake and, you know, we wish it hadn't happened. It's a whole another thing then to take that, to go into his comments on his Instagram or whatever and start putting vitriolic comments in there. That's just pathetic, in all honesty. And I feel he shouldn't have to see that. And I don't understand the mindset of people like that. I just don't get it. You know, hate is just too prevalent these days. And I wish these people could be held to account for their posts. I wish every single one of them that post this disgusting, nasty shit can be held to account, because they wouldn't do it in the real world. They wouldn't do it if they're standing in front of them, because, you know, they get a slap, and rightly so. So I just don't like that the world is that way, where people feel the need and the freedom to be that disgusting. There's probably rival fans on his Instagram. It doesn't really matter, to be fair. You know, if you want to say, you want to be careful with your... Like, there's ways to banter, if you get me, but I don't like ever going at a player for anything. I think if you want to talk about these things on your own social media accounts and say, oh, I can't believe that mistake or whatever from Kwanzaa, but if you start tagging the player or you're in their comments, you're a scumbag. It's as simple as that. If you're being that hateful towards somebody from a sport that you love, grow up. I'll never get it. Same way I always say it on here. I don't know why people come in here and say, I hate you, Craig. You're a disgrace. You're an embarrassment to Liverpool fans, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but why are you watching? So what I mean? Don't subject yourself to something that makes you angry or you don't like. Yeah. Oh, 2-2 Arsenal have pulled it back there. 2-2 in the Arsenal game. Now, there you go. Look, my friends, I'm going to go and watch the end of the Champions League games myself. I came on tonight because I promised I'd come on, and it was a quiet one, but that's no problem. We'll be back at it tomorrow. I'll see you guys at 4 o'clock tomorrow for another stream. Enjoy the rest of the Champions League games if you're watching them, and hopefully we'll have some more information on the whole Amorim situation tomorrow. So again, thank you for dropping in, and I will catch you tomorrow. Have a good